All right. Good morning or good afternoon, you guys. We are going to be going over variables today, and I'm going to share my screen with you so that I can kind of walk you through the PowerPoint that you guys are going to be working on. All right. Whoop, let me go back. Okay, so here we are going to be talking about two types of variables that we're going to be using in experiments this year. We're going to be talking about independent and dependent variables. And first of all, you have to know what a variable is. And the best way to explain this is a variable is the test that you'll be doing in the class or the factors you're going to be testing. So if you're measuring something or if you're mixing chemicals and looking for reactions. So variables are what you're doing or working with in an experiment. So the first variable we're going to talk about is controlled. And a controlled variable means you never change it. It's if you have a bottle of water, the bottle of water is just sitting on the table. You're not going to do anything to it. So in simple terms, control means to be untouched. So it's going to stay the same. It's what you base your observations off of. The second variable we're going to talk about is independent. Now, independent, I think of it as the thing that I can change in an experiment because it starts with the letter I, and I get to change that. Another word is manipulated. So touch is another way you can think of independent. You're going to touch it or change it. Let's see. Let's say we have an experiment where we're testing paper towels, and we're looking at which paper towel soaks up the water the best. So the variable that we're going to change is going to be the brand of paper towel. So we might use Viva, we might use Great Value, and we might use Bounty. So we're changing the brand of the paper towel. And at the end of an experiment, when you graph something, you'll notice here, you're going to be graphing it on the x-axis. So we'll talk more about that in a second. And dependent variables are what changes. So it depends on what you did to the experiment. So let's think about that paper towel experiment again. You've got your Bounty, your Viva, and your Great Value. And you're trying to soak up 10 milliliters of water with each. Well, however much gets soaked up is going to be your dependent value. So let's say Viva soaks up 9 milliliters, Great Value soaks up 3 milliliters, and Bounty soaks up 6 milliliters. So those are all different. That's what you're looking at. That's what you're measuring. So I'll put here, it says, think about the word dependent. The root word is depends. So it depends on what you did during the experiment. And then you're going to graph this on the y-axis. So here's a quick little way you can kind of look at it. If you need pictures, I'm a picture learner, so pictures help me out. Independent, what I change. Dependent, what you're looking at or measuring. And then control, you keep it the same. Here's another example. If you're going to do a experiment using different fluids that determine how quickly a plant would grow. The independent variable is going to be what you change. So it's going to be the liquid that you put in the plant. The dependent is going to be how much it changed, so the height the plant grew. And then the control is going to be, water, what you would always water a plant with. Here's another example, and you guys are going to do a paper airplane lab in a couple days, so that's why I stuck this one in here. Paper size, so you can change the size of the paper. You might also change the shape of the paper airplane or the type of the paper you're using. But I did put this one in here as an example for that experiment coming up. Again, with plants and water. So independent, how much water you use. Dependent, how much did it grow. So always please remember the independent changes the dependent. And the very last slide here is what I'm going to want for you to copy down in your journal. So you can open this back up after I'm done with this lesson, and you have the Google Slides in the classroom, so you can open it back up go to this last slide right here, and I need you to copy down all of this information. So again, you're going to put the title up here is going to be independent dependent variables, and then you're going to copy down your definitions here, and then underneath that, squeeze in your graph here. This would be usually plotted as a line graph or a bar graph, usually a line graph. You got your dependent on your y-axis and your independent on your x-axis. So you're just going to copy all this down, draw this in your journal, and those are your notes for today. Okay, so I'm going to stop that screen share. All right. So if you have any questions, call me, email me, message me on Google Classroom. All of these things are easily done, and I can get to you as quickly as I can. Or I sent a newsletter home to your parents. You can read over that for further information. All right, see you guys later.